Are you on the Shop Talk with Mel page or your personal?
Hey, it's Shop Talk, baby. This is the show where it's okay to be you. We're talking from Yale to jail and from the church house to the pimp house. Nothing's excluded on Shop Talk. So if you don't have a phone, I suggest you borrow one. Call in and voice your opinion live every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Yeah, that's right, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to Shop Talk with your girl, because right here, we keeps it real. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How we doing today, lovely people?
Good morning, good morning. On the go.
Is it?
Yes. Usually I'm just somewhere chill, but I want to go today.
Okay, that's what we do.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you, Malik?
All right.
Getting it going. Hey, listen, we got a lot to talk about today. I got so many things going on, honestly. I was watching, like, this commercial. Before we get into the show, I was watching this commercial. And, like, if your hair is thinning out, they got, like, this pepper stuff. It looked like pepper, like seasoning. You just, like, pour it and shake it on your head.
Uh-huh.
And it thickens it up. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, I've seen people use that before. But I think I'd rather just use like the natural herb rinses and things like that that'll thicken your hair up. I'm not about to.
You ain't about to do no shake, no seasoning. You not gonna season your hair?
Because when you get to start sweating, it's gonna start cooking. No, thank you.
Does it drip?
I don't know, but I was just thinking, like, what if you get caught in the running?
Oh, I guess you hit.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, look, let's get started with today. We're talking about the solutions to the gun violence that's going on. So I had Officer Malik come on because, like, do we have any solutions?
Our solutions start with our people at home.
Okay.
I mean, it's got to be a better job done. It's got to be, I won't say better, I'll say different. A different job done at home with these kids. I mean, it starts at home, then it starts at school, then it starts with the rest of the community. There's got to be a different level of understanding of what life truly should be. Because right now, these kids don't care about life.
Okay.
It's like the kill or be killed, and that's not the way any of us were raised.
Okay, you said kill or be killed. Okay, let me catch lovely people up. Let's put these stats out here first. In 2020, the stats showed that it was the highest. 20,000 people died of gun violence, okay? 20,000 killed from the data. The data is from the gun violence archives, okay? And then it was, 24,000 added that died from suicide from, gun violence. Now, we're into 2021 and stats are showing, and we're just like, what is it, the first 7 months? And it's almost 10,000 people. So it's not just the thing that's going on in my hometown of Youngstown, Ohio. It's going on across the board.
Yeah, it is.
So how do, I wanted to do a show on solutions and not, we know what the problem is. We constantly did gun control. Remember before it was turn your guns in. It was like different programs that different cities were doing, and it's still out there. So what's your thoughts on that before we go into saying it starts at home? And we'll talk about the different people that had their say.
You want to talk policy, we got to make the crime, we got to have tougher laws for people who use guns in crime. I mean, they're already up there, but it seems like they have to get tougher. Ohio just started using the new drive-by law, where you get time for using a gun specifically just for a drive-by before you get time for the crime itself.
What?
And that's not even including the gun theft.
Wait a minute. What now?
if you do a drive-by on a house and you get arrested and convicted of doing a drive-by, there's a specific charge that's just for the drive-by itself, not the actual. I do a drive-by on Mel's house, and I get caught, and I hit Mel. I'm going to get charged with doing a drive-by. Then I'm going to get charged with felonious assault. Then I'm also going to get charged with the gun theft.
Oh. Okay. So that's a lot of charges.
Yeah, it's a bunch of, but people are still doing drive-bys. Look at Warren.
You sound muffled. Where you at? On the freeway?
I'm in my car driving through a neighborhood. I'm on the road right now.
Oh, okay. So you said look at what now?
I said where you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
We're already enacting some laws, but it just seems like it's getting to the point that it's got to be like New York, where you're not allowed to own a gun.
Okay, so New York, you can't own a gun?
You go to jail just for having a gun.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you're not allowed to own guns in New York, but they own them anyway, because as long as America is about its money, people gonna sell whatever they need to sell.
Mm-hmm. I think it might have a lot to do with. Okay, let's go here. There were people that were saying that more of us are purchasing guns now. Legally. And I think it has a lot to do with that whole thing. You know, it was like, 2019, 2020, when a whole lot of white people was getting guns. We like, hold up, let us get in the line. We're like, what's going on? We won't be outnumbered. You know what I mean? So it had to be something going on. It won't be no purge up in here.
Yeah. There have been, ever since COVID, we've had a lot, the gun sales have risen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they've risen. But the other part of the problem is everybody's been locked up in their house for almost a year.
Okay.
So, human nature, people go wild when you've been under all these restrictions for a year, then they just let you go. I mean, we've had a rise in everything as far as any type of violence goes, fights, everything else. So, human nature. I haven't been free for this amount of time. I'm just going to do what I want to do. So we've had a rise in some of everything across the board. Not just Youngstown, everywhere.
Okay. Now, let me say this. We had someone I asked the question, what's the solution? Well, one of the viewers actually said, where are we getting these guns from?
Well, legally anywhere. As long as they're a legal gun owner on the street, it ain't that hard to do. It's easier to buy a gun than it is to buy a car.
Interesting.
Because think about it though, a lot of the guns when we take them off people, they're stolen.
Okay.
They've either broken into somebody's house and found them, or the kids inside the house know where they are. They take them and sell them to their friends or give them to them.
Okay.
Or you have somebody that's on drugs and they trade them.
Oh. So they just turn them in and you just getting them and everybody just ready for war.
Yep.
So how's that working with New York with the Second Amendment? Like, so New York can't have guns, but what about, you have the right to bear arms?
I'm not sure exactly how they did that. I know it's not legal for you to have one.
No, don't try it, huh?
Yes. Remember Tactical Burris? Remember when you went to prison?
When who?
Tactical Burris. He played for the New York Jets.
Well, I don't know where you riding at in the city. I don't know where you riding in the city, but it's all jacked up. You go.
You sound like a robot for a minute.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in D.C.
Oh, you're in D.C.?
Yeah.
Oh, they got a lot going on up there. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, now I want to talk about the different people that were voicing their opinion in the area of the hometown. And I heard some of the people that were voicing their opinions. There were some people that said that, just as you said, Officer Malik, it starts at home. As far as like, you know, gaining control. But once, you know, you can raise your child and you could say, okay, this is right, this is wrong. And then once they hit a certain age, they don't want to hear you anymore. So how can you blame that on the household?
Well, I'm not blaming that on the household. That's honest to God's truth. They get so old and they make their own decisions and choices. But a lot of them aren't being given the opportunity to know what good choices are.
Okay.
I mean, I have no problem with a parent or two parents who raise their child the best that they can, and that kid grows up and falls into a group where they decide to give in to peer pressure and do dumb stuff. But if the parents done everything that they can, I have nothing to say about it. I mean, when I say it starts at home, if you're raising your child the best that you can and teaching them right from wrong, that kid is still going to grow up and make his or her own decision. It's the part of a parent that all of us are parents that gives us gray hair.
Okay.
Because everybody's kid grows up to make their own choices.
Okay, Deron, you want to weigh in on this?
I agree with Malik 100% on that. I mean, you know, these kids are different times from us, man. I mean, they have no respect for life, and they don't feel death too. You know, they don't have respect for the elderly, none of that crap, man. Whereas our parents basically put a little fear in them. And now with these new laws that you can't discipline your kids, that's a bunch of crap. That's a bunch of crap. Because I'd rather discipline my kids now than have Malik to my house years later, picking him up from my house and him going to prison.
Okay.
So, I mean, I agree with him 100%. Whatever you do, they're going to make their own decisions. But it starts in the home, definitely. You know, the mothers can't baby these sons and expect them to go out and do what they're supposed to do. You know, you got sometimes, excuse my expression, but sometimes you got to take your breath out of their mouth. Yeah. I see a lot of that going on. I've had that same problem with my son. You know, you didn't let me get a hold of him when he was younger, and look what's going on with it.
Oh, okay. If you're just tuning in, we are listening to, we talking to Nyk the Voice, Officer Malik, and Deron Murphy. I thank you guys for coming on. I'm not gonna lie to you, you guys are making me so nervous because y'all emotion, and I'm like, oh my gosh, please, like, be careful. And
we did.
And all right, look, I'm like, and the feedback is like, it's bad. It's really, really bad. So I'm hoping that the listeners don't turn away. We are live on Facebook, so make sure you guys tune in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you much. Okay, now we did have someone say they blamed the mayor for the killings in the area, the killings in the city. Now,
I'm blaming the mayor. They've been going on for years.
Child, listen. Look at the mayor in Chicago, the little lady. Y'all just stressed her out there. You see, she didn't change. She didn't flip-flop. That lady, you know she's stressed out. Like, how can you blame the mayor, a person that's laying in their bed asleep, on the murders that's happening in the city? Please help me to understand that.
That's a good one.
Wait, Nick. We got to go one at a time. Go ahead. What were you saying, Malik?
That's a good one. I'd love to hear that one myself.
Okay, go ahead, Deron.
How are you going to blame Tito for the murder? This stuff been going on for years. How's Tito the cause of the murder? He's not the one going out there pulling a gun.
Go ahead, Nick.
I mean, a lot of stuff with us as a community, we got to start taking blame our own self. You know, where's your kid at? Why is your kid out this time of night? You know, where is your kid at? How do you not know where your child is?
Now that's a good question. And how many parents will actually tell on their child?
Oh, I would.
I would too.
If my child was doing wrong, I'm going to lead him to the law. I'm not going to uphold my child. He's wrong. My daughter, same thing. I had to do the same thing. So why would I hide? That's going to make it work.
Okay. I was wondering, there's some parents that actually will cover for their child. And so Malik, when you say it starts at home, I do know some parents that will cover for their children. They will go to jail for their child. And that's an issue.
I'm not going to do that, ma'am. I'm not going to do that. I'm definitely not going to go to jail for my child. You know, if you've done the dirty deed, and you have to be accountable for your actions.
You know
Plain
what?
and simple.
You know what I've actually seen, honestly? I look at how the murders back in the 90s, and that was Mayor Patangaro in the hometown.
Yeah.
And I didn't see people blaming him. And now you got a black mayor, and now people just jumping on the bandwagon talking about those bodies are on the mayor. He's asleep. How does that happen?
I'm still trying to figure that out, how Tito has anything to do with the 6 homicides. Now, don't get me wrong, he's in power, but he can only do but so much. You know, it goes back to the neighborhood watch. Now, I agree there could be more policemen patrolling the high crime areas. I'm totally agrees with that. But my thing with that is, at the end of the day, it's not Tito's fault.
Okay.
But we do need to make a better in a high crime area. Because, you know, you got some elderly people. I was over their way one day, and it was like a shooting over there on Avondale. And you got these elderly people that's been living here for years. They're scared to come out their own houses. And them people are retired, and they pay their house off. They should not be having to live in fear like that.
Okay, now you brought up a point, Nick. I know you want to come on with it, Nick. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go back to where Malik said it starts at home. It starts when they're children, little, because you have parents with little kids, little girls and little boys, doing stuff, saying stuff, cussing at the age of 2, 3, 4, and the parents think it's cute, and they laughing, and their friends is laughing and letting them get away with stuff. There, get your bail, asses up. Start then.
I agree, Nick. I agree.
Start then. I mean, it starts from when they're young, because I've been around a lot of people, seen a lot of people who think that's cute and they laugh. No, if you think it's cute now, laugh now. But when they embarrass your behind out in public somewhere, and now kids cussing at their mama and saying stuff and hitting at them, tear their butt up where they cut it.
Yeah,
that's what my mama used to say.
Amen.
Now, Deron hit on police patrolling. Now, we spoke with Malik on several occasions where there were not enough police officers out there, and they couldn't, and a lot of people couldn't pass the drug test.
Oh, wow.
So, Malik, speak to that, his point as far as like saying more police officers patrolling. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I'm at Howard University now.
Word.
Yeah.
WHUR. Go ahead, though.
Well, just to give you guys an update on where we stand. We are at our lowest amount of police officers in the city that we have ever had.
Wow.
Our last test, 60 signed up for it, 45 passed it. We got about 6 people out of it. So we're going to be giving another test.
Wait a minute. Wait, how did you get 6 people? Wait a minute. Wait. 60
6 out of 60.
Wait a minute. 60 signed up for it. 45
signed up for it. 45 passed it. We got about 6 people out of it.
Now, Malik, not to cut you off. Now, why did we only get 6 people out of that? I mean,
because you go through a background. You go through a background check. We go through a background check to vet our people. You just don't let anybody have a badge.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so we go through It takes a year and a half to completely become a police officer.
Okay.
So between the background check, the physical fitness test, the lie detector test, everything that we go through takes a good year. So right now we have right around 6 people that we're looking at that are going to end up in uniform. We hope, unless they get chosen, unless they pick to go to other places. The other problem that we have is we only start out at $14, $15 an hour.
That's crazy to me.
Oh, wow.
Especially when Riley's talking about, wait a minute, wait. So Riley's, the fast food restaurant, I seen the sign that said $15.
Correct. And Sheets is $17.
Sheets, you talk about $5 on pump 3?
Sheets is $17 an hour. And Wendy's is giving people a $100 signing bonus just for filling out applications.
But there you have it. This is the problem with our society, man.
Correct.
Athletes and celebrities, all these tons of dollars, millions and tons of dollars, and you want to give a police officer $14, $15, and he's risking his livelihood on a regular daily basis. That is so disrespectful.
Yeah. So our pay rate needs to change as well, because it's hard to attract good applicants when you're not paying anything.
You ain't lying, because I ain't fooling with y'all at them rates. I'm going to go up there and be like, you want extra salt on the fries? You want fresh fries? You know, if I got an option.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, when you say more police officers on the street, we're all working overtime as it is. Even in my new position,
wow.
I go back to the turns and I work the road because we don't have good people. So we all know.
So tell me this. Wait a minute. Wait. Tell me how we can correct that issue. So how does one police officer ask for more money from the community?
Well, that's on city council.
Okay.
Council is aware of the issues, and we're hoping that they're going to work on it, especially our young ones.
Okay, so wait. So city council is who makes a decision on your pay rate?
If city council could, to an extent, and then we go through contract negotiations every couple of years.
So, with that being said, one second. With that being said, I want to make sure that the listening audience is clear and we're concise on this. It is very important who you put in positions.
Oh, amen.
Not just because, okay, I know this person and this. A lot of people didn't know what city council did. It's like, okay, we just police our areas. You know, if this is an issue, this is what we do. But city council has a say-so in a raise or not in your policing, your neighborhood. I thought that there was is that where they put a levy out? You know how sometimes they have like city levies and stuff like that? They don't do levies for you guys?
We did one some time ago that we still get money from. But that money doesn't come to us. It goes to the general fund, and we don't see it.
Got a yard.
All right, somebody, whoever that is, please mute it because we're live. Look, who's talking?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was pumping gas. No, I'm sorry.
That's
that dumb computer.
Wait, that's the they making $17 an hour. Where you at?
Yeah.
He getting gas. Oh my gosh. But that's crazy. So when you're making that amount of money, you really have to like what it is or enjoy what you do.
Correct. To keep coming to work every day, to be short every day, to deal with how society treats us every day.
Yeah.
And for the way things are going right now, y'all got that too.
Yeah, and on top of that, we're being punished for stuff that's happening nationally that's not happening locally.
Yeah, and I will say that, our cops around here, thank God we haven't been going through those issues that we've been seeing on the national stage, man, because, wow, my heart goes out to some of those people and their families, man. Not all cops are bad cops. I will agree, y'all do get a bad rap.
Nyk, did you want to add in on that piece?
Yeah, it's like they said, one bad apple don't spoil the bunch, but for everybody, especially with the things that are happening within the black community, and the beef that they've been having with the police and everything. Not all police are bad, and the thing is, that's why you can't get anybody, besides not being able to pass the background or the drug test. You can't get anybody to want, I don't mess with the police, I don't do this, I don't do that. Well, stop complaining when things don't go your way. If you and when they start bringing police, hiring people that's not from your community to police your community. If you want justice in your community, you need to go out and help. Don't bring somebody from out of town to become a police officer. Well, you said you don't mess with the police, and you have a perfect opportunity. If you know your background is clean and you know you can pass a drug test, then go and become part of the solution and help bring the community back together. And it stems from what's going on with, police brutality against black people and stuff like that. And it's not only black people, but, it's stemming from that as well. But, because they're having the same thing from where I'm from. And it's like, don't nobody want to go out because everybody.
How y'all doing today?
Okay. All right, Malik.
Hold on 1 second, you guys. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, let's do this because it's really hard to hear. And I can't do a show like this, okay? So I'm being serious, like I can't do a show like this. So I need everybody, if you're going to be on, just let's go ahead and let's communicate and come up with some solutions. And if you can't, I'm going to I'm going to mute him. If you can't, I totally understand. But we can't get to solutions if we can't understand them, okay? All right. Now we're going to go to the viewers real quick. Besides the one viewer that said it's hard to hear. Look, we have one young lady who says that I don't want to. She said attacking the mayor falls into the crab mentality. That's the crab in the barrel mentality. And another one says who wants to get shot for $14 an hour. And I feel that one.
Yeah.
Now, one young lady says that one reason I left the stressful job as 911 at $12 an hour without medical, non-union, and when she started there, it was nuts. So you have there's a lot of issues that actually are going on or, playing a part in this whole thing. And it's not just, for the people wanting to help out.
That still falls on the community because you are able to go to city council meetings. Go to your city council meeting. Voice your opinion. If you have a fear and you're wanting to help, that's where you start. You go and make sure you are at every city council meeting. You go and voice your opinion. Let the city council know that these police officers need more money.
Exactly.
Money, and we need more people that can pass. Need more people to help. I mean, if you want to feel safe in your community, you got to start with the meetings. Take your behind to your city council meetings. Voice your opinion. Help them out.
I agree.
Okay.
I totally agree with you, Nick.
Okay, now we asked, Deron, you said earlier that you would actually tell on your child.
Yes, I would. I mean, am I wrong for doing that? You tell me, Mel. Do you think I'm wrong for doing that?
Absolutely not. I am that parent that will tell.
Why uphold my child and turn around? You keep upholding him. He or she is never going to learn the lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn. I made some mistakes in my life, and my mom damn sure didn't uphold me. If you did it, you better own up to it.
Okay, we're going to go to another viewer. A viewer said that that's a lie. He was elected to do a job and lead the community. The police and the mayor do not hold the parties accountable. So that's somebody who feels like what we were talking about, the mayor. Now, here's the thing. I want to speak to that viewer. Here's the thing the issue that I have with that. So you're dealing with the killings, and I get it. No, we want to control, stop the gun violence, change the gun laws, and stop the killing. I get that. But what about the other part of the community? The whole community is not killing everybody.
Exactly.
So you're supposed to just not deal, and no shade, but how many of the people that are out there doing the killing are paying taxes? So you're supposed to just negate the people that are paying taxes, you know what I mean, for their community and just focus on this issue? Talk to me. Come on, Nick. Come on. We're here for solutions.
Okay, so that one right there.
You see that? Go ahead.
You cannot blame the police and the mayor and say they're not doing anything. But then probably this one of the same ones that if one of your family members is locked up for doing something, and we see this all the time. Free so-and-so. Free so-and-so. Free my N-word. Free this. Free that. Free them for what? If they did the crime, they need to do the time. Sit your tail down. But then you turn around in the same breath after you talk about free your friend or your nephew or your son or whoever did the crime, and you talk about free them, and then turn around and blame the police and the mayor because they're not doing their job. Excuse me, they did their job. Now you're fighting against them.
You're protesting with T-shirts.
That gets on my nerves. Free nothing. Sit your tail down and take your punishment like a man, woman, or whoever. Child, if you did it, you did it. Ain't no free nothing. Sit your ass down. I can't stand that. But them be the same people that want to blame the police when something happened in their family or somebody get killed in their family and they mad and want to say the police ain't doing nothing. But then in the same breath, you got a friend that went to jail for robbing something or shooting at somebody, and you talk about friend. Man, sit down with that.
Okay.
Sit down.
Okay.
Wow.
Now you do have the go ahead. What'd you say, Deron?
Dick got a little emotional there.
Hey, that's real. We keep it real on Show Talk. That's what we do. Keep it real.
That just it irks me for that because them the same ones that want to blame the police for everything, but then turn around and don't want to blame your friend, but you know did the crime.
I agree.
Go ahead. What's your thoughts? No, go ahead, talk.
I disagree, and I believe what David Johnson is also saying. I disagree because my cousin was murdered last February in the city of Warren. Everybody in Warren knows who did it, but the police still have yet to make an arrest. So there needs to be more patrols or more community connection between the police so that they know what's going on.
That's a point too. So if you have the whole city that knows, and if they're talking to the police, and the police, and I get it, you can't just go off of hearsay, and you have just like what David was saying, his brother was murdered, and they had evidence and witnesses in his case, and nothing happened.
It also it depends on the community because same thing happened with my little cousin in Newcastle a couple years ago. The police was at the house in the garage. They seen the blood stain that when they moved the couch. Seen all of that. They let that boy and his daddy go, and the boy ran. Not to mention everybody in the community was outside of the house. This was last year, the year before, I think, towards the end of 2019, 2020, with my little cousin Mark. That right there. So it also depends on the police in your community. They knew, they had all that. They was right there at the house and seen evidence and let them go. They ended up catching that boy, somebody hurting, because the little boy was stupid enough to be on Instagram and Snapchat talking about he was a soldier. That's how he got caught right there in Midland and got extradited back here.
Okay, now let's see if we can go to Officer Malik, see if he can shed some light on that. Let's see here if he can hear us, since he's at Howard University. There we go. Hold on one second.
I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead, Malik. What's your thoughts on that?
Well,
Just generally speaking, as an officer.
Yeah. A lot of the times we'll know what happened. We can't prove what happened. Knowing something and proving it is two totally different things. You got to have witnesses that'll step forward, that'll say, "Yeah, I saw this. Yeah, I saw that." You got to have actual evidence that connects the person to the crime. A lot of times we have to wait for evidence to come back in order for us to be able to make an arrest, which is sometimes why it takes so long. We don't do DNA. We have to send that out. Okay. And a lot of times we don't have enough DNA to actually send out on stuff. Most of the time it's just the fact that we have lack of cooperation from the community. Like the shooting that just happened on South Avenue. The shooting that just happened on South Avenue at the, what is it, the Daisy?
Okay.
The after hour spot?
Okay.
There were all kind of people there that saw what happened. You had 3 people who got hit. We get there, ain't nobody saw nothing. So we're not clairvoyant. So we need help. We can collect all the casings in the world. But if the place doesn't have video, and if nobody's willing to come forward, people can say such and such did it all day long. But if we don't have proof, we can't do nothing about it. It takes all of us working together to keep our community safe. Now, I've been saying that forever. It's a symbiont circle. It takes all of us working together to make it happen. Now, when we get people who come forward, or if we get video evidence, we make arrests. We issue warrants, we make arrests, and then we turn it over to the prosecutor side of it, and the courts handle it from there. But when we get people who step forward and say, "I saw this, I'm willing to do a witness statement," we actually go out, we find people, we question them, and we go from there. But we can't do it if we don't have enough evidence to make an arrest. So yeah, the city can talk about it all day long, but if nobody's willing to come forward, there's nothing we can do about it. And Mel, there's something I want to clarify too.
Go ahead.
Because a lot of stuff that I've seen on Facebook, and I just don't say anything to it, is that for some reason they seem to think that, regardless who's in that office, they think the mayor has the right to issue warrants or take them away or make arrests or unarrest people. The mayor doesn't have that type of power. He can't do that. That's not his job. Just like the president of the United States cannot make an arrest.
Right. Congress running it.
You hit it right on the nose. Congress is running it. But Malik, not to cut you off, but piggybacking off of what you said, with all the technology and all the forensic files that's going on, why aren't you guys using DNA?
We do use DNA, but you got to have enough of it to get a match. We do actually send stuff out for DNA. It's just to the point that we don't do it here. We don't have the technology here to do it. It's too expensive. So we work with the state and we work with the feds and we send it out. But then we got to wait in line for everybody else who's sending stuff to the state and to the feds.
Oh, wow.
And then when we get it back, we go from there. But we got to wait our turn just like everybody else.
What all the money that, I've heard rumors about the city receiving $82 million, or 88, whatever the
84.
What's wrong with the money? Can't they take that out of that funding?
Well, not necessarily, because that money has stipulations to it on how it gets spent. Otherwise, you can't use it or you got to pay it back.
So it's basically the same way how the funding is used for the housing authority where I work at. So
yeah. You'll get over that money, but they tell you can only spend it on this, and this.
Yeah, okay.
And a lot of people tend to think that you have that money to do whatever. And
there's certain guidelines.
Yes. And even like with the schools, you remember when they were building new schools and they were like, why do they keep building schools? We don't even have enough students in here. Why don't they do this with that money? Money has stipulations on it.
There you go.
And then if you don't use it, when you get it the next time they have those grants,
you won't be eligible.
You won't even be eligible for it. So you got to spend it once you get it.
Well, where I work at, if we don't use it, they take it back.
Oh yeah, same here.
So you have to show that there is a need.
Yeah, you only have a certain amount of time to spend the money, and on certain things. It's very particular.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a solution. Let's go to the viewer. Here's a solution. So that old way of thinking snitches get stitches needs to die. That's a solution. And it does. It needs to die. But the way things is set up, let's be honest. The way things are set up now, and these folk, I think, Deron, you said it earlier on in the show. These people, they don't care, or Nick, one of you, these people don't care about killing you.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
So it's like, do I mind my business, or do I say something to save my community? Just as you were saying, Deron, like the elderly people that are retired, they didn't pay for their homes. They shouldn't have to go and try to find another house or buy another house because they don't feel safe in their communities.
No, they shouldn't. They should not have to go through like that. They paid their dues to society. They, did all they could of work, to make their retirement, their golden years successful. They should not have to pack up and move out their neighborhood. If you want to stay there till you go to Blacks or whatever funeral home you choose to go to, so be it. They shouldn't be forced out their community.
Right. I agree with you. I agree with you 110%. It's interesting to me that, we have all these problems and we can say what the problem is. But my thing is, let's focus on solutions. That's what today's show is about. Solutions. How can we correct this? What do you think that we already talked about, starting at home so we can look at our children and see if it's a problem. Let's be realistic here. You done seen, like, even if you don't even have children, you seen that neighbor child that be off the chain, throwing animals, hurting animals. You be like, oh, wait a minute. Don't not say anything. Say something. Be like, you seen the Unabomber growing up at 5 years old. You know what I'm saying? And nobody wants to say anything to anybody's child.
Some of these parents, if you say something to them about their child, they ready to fight you.
I was getting ready to say, our community.
And that's what Malik was talking about.
Yeah, I'm the one that'll fight. Oh, you want to fight? Let's fight.
But at some point, you have to say there's an issue. And people are put in certain positions as far as like their jobs to, like, let's go with the elementary schools. Thank God they have counseling in the elementary schools now. I was happy about that. And being a nurse in the elementary school, I'm able to see some things. And I'm actually in position. But if you have those teachers that are in positions, those parents want to fight the teacher because they're mad about them. Mm-hmm. And that teacher is in a position to possibly correct that child, interrupt that behavior and correct that child so that they can be a productive citizen in society. Now, granted, I will say that you do have some bad teachers, some bad apples. You do. Yeah. That will sit there and blackball a child. They'll scar them. It's like, okay, kindergarten, boom, there they go. They're in this class. But you do have people that care. And I'm going to bring this up. Police officers, and this is why I really wanted him on there. You see how much they get paid. How impactful is a police officer to the community? Look at the school teachers. You see how much they get paid. How impactful they are to the community and our future. So you got to look, even in your job, Deron, how impactful are you? You reach and teach one. Anytime you see someone, they're looking for role models.
Yes.
And I grew up in metropolitan housing. You know that.
We both did.
Right. So it's like you be like, okay, do I want to go this way or do I want to go that way? And just like what Malik was saying, you have choices once you become an adult. But when you are a child, you still have choices because you have those role models. And I seen the lady across the street that lived in the house right across the street from the Jets. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, they doing it up. However, when we were coming up in the projects, people have morals and values. Our places looked identical, but we had our individual personalities and we all had respect.
There you go.
So
your mama could whoop my behind and my mama could whoop your behind.
Thank you.
And with no question,
thank you.
And after that,
I got a few neighborhood whoopings myself.
It's like, okay, well, they already knew what happened. Everybody knew what happened when you get left school, so it's like, what is going on? And I'm thinking, and this is just my thoughts, I'm thinking this generation, which is us going into the grandparent mode, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, what we didn't have, and I'm going to say we collectively as a community, we want to make sure that our children don't deal with that or have to worry about that. So you want to give them everything. And then you have the generation of entitlement. And now they don't care about anything.
Yeah. Right. You get it right on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
So
Generation of entitlement. And a lot of these parents know it and they say it themselves, but it's too late because you've already instilled that in them. And so, you know, like with my nieces, I get at them all the time, and my brother know, and he don't say that because I'm when I whoop the kids. I tell my cousins everything. The kids cut up around me, I'm gonna whoop their ass. You get mad, you just get mad.
Right, and if you want to come and visit,
your parents,
you gotta have
me when I was little.
You have to have rules and you have to have boundaries. And my thing is, don't bring your child over my place if they don't know how to act right.
True.
And
thank you.
Amen.
You know, because you have some that they'll be like, no, don't hit my child. Don't. I'm not trying to just beat your child. That's not my plan. But your child is not gonna come and tear up my stuff.
Amen.
Thank you.
And I'm supposed to be like, oh, okay.
So if the parent don't have respect, then of course the child is not going to have respect. The respect between generations it's gotten lost because, like you said, it takes a village to raise a child. And like Ron said, we all got our ass whooped by the neighborhood mothers. And by the time you got home, you got your butt whooped again.
And then they knew at church. You were like, what?
Thank you. And it's like, we lost that because, you know, through the generations growing up, I don't want nobody hit my child. You hit my child. But the thing is, we were not bad children.
Nope.
Because we was afraid to get our back.
That's right.
More than once for the same offense. Mm-hmm. But now you know you don't. You don't want, and it's not to, like you said, not to abuse nobody's child, but you want to let them know, no, this. I'm whooping your butt now to keep the judge and the police officers and the doggone guards in prison from whooping your behind later.
But you can't even whoop them now because they're gonna call the CPS on you. So where's the discipline?
You know what?
Right.
I tell them right now, go ahead and call the CPS. I don't give a DT because at the end of the day, I'd rather get them now than Malik knock them upside the head later.
Yeah. Bottom line, and it's not against the law to whoop them at all. It's against the law to abuse them. And that's the misconception about the law.
It is a misconception because culturally is a difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a difference how we discipline.
Yep.
And let's be real, the white man disciplined us, so and some of us just carry that on with the whips. Come on, somebody. You introduced it and now you want to take it back. Come on.
Exactly.
Amen, Phil. Amen, sister.
And that's because we started turning around and doing it to them. So now they want to take it back.
I'm like,
they whip nobody.
You know, it's.
I got grandchildren and I got nieces and nephews and little cousins, and they all know. At one point or another, they got their behinds tore up with me. The ones that's grown now will tell you, oh, Nikki didn't play. I mean, I would play with the kids, but after a while, you know, they want to keep playing. And when I snap out and start whooping butts, then they knew I was serious. And they'll let you know now. Nikki didn't play. I mean, she would play with because I'm the fun cousin. But when I say stop, you don't stop.
There's going to be an issue. And you have to. I think we need to bring morals back. Because I'm still trying to understand it, and I'm not that old. How in the world are the things that we should be ashamed of acceptable? Like, okay, it was obviously, okay, let me just keep, you see these people, everybody on there, on the Instagram, their Instagram model. They got on like little swimsuits, thirst trapping it, okay? And at some point, these bikinis is like underwear, and I'm thinking this used to like be, you know what I mean, respectful. And now it's like the least amount of clothes you wear, the more popular you are.
Yeah.
And it's becoming acceptable. What's your body count? And I'm not talking about death count. How many people you killed? How many people you slept with? Chicks sleeping with more dudes than guys sleeping with females, and before it was like, not that it was acceptable then, but it was more acceptable for a man to be out there like that versus a female with no strings attached, and now they bragging on it. How are we changing? Not even how. Why are we allowing the narrative to be changed?
Right. And then, Mel, later on, those will be the same ones that be joining the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
So, like, you sitting here talking about so-and-so, you said no, you didn't give consent, so-and-so raped you, but yet and still you displaying everything on Instagram, on Facebook, out in public when you go out, like, there has to be a line drawn. You could be sexy and not show an ounce of skin.
I'll tell you what to do. Delete Instagram for a minute, like that thing said, and boom, just think you're not a model anymore. Then what do you have? If they trumped us, like they cut him off all social media, if they trumped us for a week, what would those people do?
Child, they would go crazy.
See, that's what we got to come in somewhere along the line. We got to come in and fix this and correct it. That's why I'm like, we're looking for solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Solutions on how we can fix this issue. And so I'm looking at the time. I'm creeping up on the time. Deron, I like yours. You're like, I'm going to tell on my child.
That's right.
Nick says she going to continue speaking about the neighbors. Like,
I got to. I got to tell on them, Nick. I mean, I got to tell them, Mel. What kind of father would I be if I'm teaching my child that it's cool to disrespect and lie and abuse people? That's not right.
And it's not right. And I will say this. I want to put clarity out there. One of the young men, I seen him on the Facebook Live where he was talking about how, it starts at home. And like I was saying, that once they become adults, they make their decisions. He wasn't speaking on the victims. He was speaking on the aggressors, the shooters.
Mm-hmm.
And if like I was saying, I mean, you could kind of tell, when they're young, you'd be like, oh, let's hurry up. Let's correct this situation before it gets out of hand. But if mama's boys, and agree with me if you want, y'all probably going to give me the riot act, but that's okay. I love it too. Mama's boys, daddy's girls. Single mothers with sons. Okay? Follow me. Single mothers with sons. Your son is going to become what you're dating because he's trying to please mama. Same thing with the little girls. Single fathers raising their little daughters. Make sure, and I always say it, make sure that you're okay with your child becoming who you're dating because they want to please you. Now, if you're dealing with the dope dealer and that's your baby daddy, the dope dealer, if you want to correct, I hold you accountable. I'm going to say that. I hold you accountable. So you're an adult. You made an adult decision to deal with this individual, but you have a young child coming up, and it might be his father. How can you be upset with the mayor for a decision you made? I'm just saying.
I agree, Mel. I see where you're going at with that situation, but you're absolutely right. If you sit and think about it, you're right.
This is what you're introducing them to.
Right.
So you're introducing them to this, and then you expect the Maliks, and when I say Maliks, he's an officer, just being an officer, you expect the Maliks to go out there and correct the person. This is right. Correct your problem because your child done shot at somebody and somebody done killed your son, done retaliated, and now you out there like, oh, hold on. Come on. It works both ways.
Also, don't expect your son to be your man either.
Yeah. Now that's a good one. That's a good one. Go ahead. Say that again louder.
Don't expect your son to be your man either.
Boom.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
You laid that out. She laid that out.
She didn't she? Now, how often do we see that?
All the
time. And you got these parents that want to be their child's friend. You can't do that. You got to separate this. I mean, it's okay to be your child's friend. but you have to separate child, friend.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do both.
Right.
You can't go around here telling your friend, your children, your financial situation. Because I got a sister that does that. She tells her kids, all her daughters, all her business. No, that's not appropriate. Your kids should not be discussing financial situation with you. They should know your income coming in and all that crap over.
Yeah,
Listen, I have a cousin who started taking her oldest child out to the bar with her when her child was maybe 13, 14. And one dude was like, you know better than that.
But see, and that's the stuff that Officer Malik is talking about. Like, you have these young kids, the parents are smoking weed, and they're like, well, they smoking with their children, talking about I'd rather them smoke with me than out in the streets. That's an issue.
That's an excuse as well.
Right.
Because if that's justified, it'd be yes. That's an excuse.
Right.
There's no way on God's free earth. I don't even drink in front of my kids. Of course, I'm not a drinker, but when I was back in the day, when I drank champagne or whatever, I never drank anything in front of my children. Because how am I going to tell you, don't do this, don't do that?
And you doing it.
And then you turn around, I'm turning around, and you seeing me do it. No. Don't smoke, and then turn around, you see me firing up a cigarette. No.
Well, think about the world. Go ahead, D.
If you want your kids, to do good, then you have to lead by example.
Yes, you do. Think about the world we grew up in. We didn't listen to the same music our parents listened to.
No.
There might have been a few songs that everybody liked, but they didn't listen to the same
Parliament.
music. They didn't wear the same clothes we wore.
No.
There was a difference between the adult world and the kid world. Now everything is the same.
Yep.
Now everything is the exact same. So the kids, in all honesty, don't understand that there should be a difference between how an adult should act and how an adult should be treated, as opposed to how their friends should be treated and how they interact with both. Everybody should be, and they think that I can talk to my parents the same way that I talk to my kids and that I talk to my friends. And that never happened. And it still shouldn't. There's no difference in the world anymore.
You're right.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
Everybody's trying to do the same thing. Go ahead.
Right. One thing growing up in my household that I didn't like with my dad, because my dad, he did. Now, he really didn't. Every once in a blue moon, we would see a beer. And my dad used, he stopped drinking, but he had drank at one point in time. But we never saw, maybe once or twice, we would see a beer in the refrigerator, and it would stay there forever. But he did smoke cigarettes around us. That's the only thing he did. But his big thing, and I used to hate that, was don't do as I do as I say.
Yep.
Yeah.
You hated that. And see, and guess what? And that's probably the issue, though. That's probably the issue now. So it's like, just like Deron is holding himself accountable. He's being responsible with his stuff. But it's don't do as I do as I say. But you have now us who are in seated positions that are like, okay, well, how can I say this? Because they felt like that. How can I say this and I'm going to drink this drink? Well, we might as well go out and drink this drink together. You have that.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm.
You have that. And I just really feel as though that, what they say, every 20 years, the cycle repeats itself.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just pray that it doesn't get too bad. Like the one time I remember the old show, it was an older show that Nyk, you were on. Remember we were talking about how, what was it? Happiness over history. That's it. Happiness over history.
Yeah, that shirt. Yeah.
And it was a shirt. And right. Me, I'm like, if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. And that's where we are. And I'm like, no, history is very important. And then the young lady, she actually explained her shirt. Her shirt was more about a relationship. I'm like, if you don't know. Yeah, it was more about a relationship.
Yeah.
So it was happiness over history. Like you be with the person, for a long time, but you rather be happy. But me, through my lens, was like, and I'm like, you can be happy, but you got to know your history. Like, keep that there.
To explain it.
And for some unknown reason, we are losing the history as time is going on. That's what I said. So every 20 years is, the cycle repeats itself. But if we're losing a bit of our history each year, where are we going to be?
Think about that.
Where are we going to be?
Yeah. Doomed to repeat it.
Yeah. And who's trying to be a slave? You see what's I'm like,
Not I don't have the
right. We was on top. And they
becoming
right, but here's the thing: we were on top. We were kings and queens, and you hear that, "Hey king, hey queen." But these people, and yep, here I go again. I'm about to say it. Y'all be on there. Hey queen, king. Hey queen, you looking beautiful. No, the people ain't looking all like no king and queen. But y'all say, "Hey king and queen, carry yourself," because what's happening is you're diminishing the meaning. Changing the narrative, like, okay, just a male and a female is a king and queen. Address them appropriately. If she out here looking crazy, hey slut, call a spade a spade. That's what I say. You know what I mean? If that's what you want to present, let me address you that way. You got chicks that's upset, mad, talking about something. He ain't have to talk to me like that, but that's what you're presenting. And then it's up to us to correct that individual. If you come, you be like, hey slut, I'm going to keep walking. I'm not going to get upset with you calling me a slut because I know you're not talking to me. And see, that's where you got to realize and educate yourself and know, okay, well, I'm not that. What am I portraying? That's when we have to look, bring the morals back, the moral and values back. We need those. That's important. Believe it or not. You know, I'm like, but y'all use that word like, hey, king. No. Get out of here. I even did a vlogism. You can't call, I can't even remember what it was. Bowing down. Y'all bobbing for apples, going down on everybody. Yeah, I'm putting it out there. And calling him a king, like you bowing down on this dude that, live in the basement with his mama.
Poop hut.
Yeah, we just like poop hut, like, dirty, don't even wash up, like buying that whole outfit off the mannequin. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like, get out of here. Or he got a whole lot of money. He a drug dealer. But strip that fat, ugly thing down. Take all that gold off and tell me if you okay with looking at that like that.
Nope. And I seen you yesterday. It fell out.
Did you? Up here, hair looking a mess, dirty teeth. Like, you not gonna brush those? Like, get out of here. How is that determining what you're going to do? How you belittle yourself, determining your value? How is devaluing yourself determining your value?
They don't see it as devaluing because they see it as I can be an individual within myself, but with how I dress, it has no value. I can dress like a slut, but that don't mean I'm a slut. So back in the day, where you've seen streetwalkers and they dressed a certain way, and your mama or whoever would say, "Oh, you looking like a hooker," you know.
Yep.
People come to church with short skirts and everything else, distracting the pastor. There's no standards anymore as far as dress.
Now you're right, but you could dress like a slut. Put a blazer on it, dress it right up, throw a blazer on, boom, mini skirt, put a nice little pump. You good to go. You know what I'm saying? But people, they don't care. So you are absolutely right. They don't care, and we got to bring that back. And the grandmothers used to tell you, too. You dress it like a streetwalker. Don't wear red polish, because you remember that. Don't wear your ankle bracelet, because you know what that means. You know, so you had that. Now you can't say anything to anybody's children, just like Malik and Nyk was saying. You can't say nothing to folks' children, so now they don't know or they don't care.
You hit it right there.
Listen,
I just don't care.
I see these young ones in the clubs cutting up, like, you know, when I was going, you know, in bars at Pharaoh all the time, and I see young ones and I know them, and they get to cutting up, and you know, and they grown, but still certain things I'll be like, I know who your mama and your daddy is. They'll stop and look at me. Don't know me from Adam's house cat. Be like, because I did your son like that the one day. He wasn't doing that, but I was just looking at him. I was like, I know you. You look just like your daddy. I know your mama and your dad. So he started that as very respectful. I just want to say that. Very respectful.
But that's the difference in the children. What about the one that be like, so what?
I've never had that yet.
You'll get it. Malik, won't you get it?
Yeah, but I'm aware that
I've been lucky enough that, and I know in all honesty, I can say I probably know just about everybody's kids. I've been lucky enough not to run into that simply because when all of those kids were in school, when they would cut up, I would just tell them, look, I'm not going to call the principal and then reach in my phone and call their parent from my own personal phone. And that usually would end it real quick. So now as adults, when they see me, they start laughing and go, look, I know you got my mama phone number. How you doing? And
See, but that's a good thing, though.
it is.
That's a
It
good
is.
thing.
Yeah, but the ones who don't care, it means that their
But
parent
when you
wasn't
see them acting
disciplining
up
them.
and you say something to them, it's a good thing to be able to say something to them. You don't get that negative response. But I have seen it happen with people though, where they step up and say something to somebody's kid, and they're like, "Well, you ain't my mama, you ain't my daddy." Well, no, but there's still a level of respect.
Right. I haven't had that yet, thank God. But yeah, I'll just, see him cutting up and this and that, and I'll be like, I know your mom and your dad. Like, tone it down. And I always give respect after, yes, ma'am, I'm sorry,
But
I'm sorry,
but
I'm
guess
cool.
what? Those aren't the issues. Those people aren't the issues. It's the ones
Right.
that don't. Now, I do want to put this out here before we move on. There are so many different organizations out there because some people felt like the solutions are have organizations. Stop the violence. I mean, you have so many different organizations out there, but let me be real. And what Malik said, it's a difference between the adults and the teenagers, okay? And the young adults. As soon as a young adult, and I remember me being a young adult, as soon as you hear ministry, I'm out. Boom, I done checked out. I grew up in the church. But if you tell me, okay, what's the street ministry? Now, if I didn't have to go, and me, with my friends, I'm being 100% authentic. You say a ministry, you'll be like, they checked out. They're like, no, I'm not interested in that. And so when they say, well, they need to go out there and meet them where they are. I get that too, but I'm not going to a bar at 2:00 in the morning. I'm not. I'm going to pray at home. I'm going to pray from home at 2:00 in the morning. Okay, if I'm awake. But I'm not going to go to a bar. There's people for that. You have Youngstown United as one. I mean, there's so many different organizations, but how do you get them to come? And that's where I'm going with that. When you say ministry, they be like, I'm not going over there here with these people. I have to tell me the same thing. You got to meet them in a different, you got to reach them where they are. And how do you suggest that we even get them besides going to the bar, if that's not your thing, to talk to these young people?
Well, sometimes you got to go to them to get to them. But the thing that I've learned, like from dealing with the Respect Basketball League and forming, and Randy and them forming the commission with the younger ones, the 20-year-olds.
Okay.
They've actually said, like, we respect y'all as adults, but we're not going to listen to y'all. We're going to listen to the ones our age that are actually doing stuff. So I'm going to listen to them because I remember as kids when we were growing up, people didn't listen to us when they should have.
Right.
Just because they're young don't mean you don't know what you're talking about.
Now, that's true.
I agree.
So, in all honesty, we need to find the ones in that age group that are doing positive stuff, that are doing the right thing, and empower them. Help them to do what they need to do to reach the other ones.
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. You hit the nail on the head because you do have people that feel as though that, okay, you younger, you have to wait your turn. If they can reach them, build them up. That's our future. I ain't trying to get hit over the head. When I get old, I'm like, build them up. I want you to be a great leader.
Because if they can truly reach one or two of them, that's one or two less we got to worry about going to jail or to a grave.
Okay, now let me say this. Let's look at this 20-year difference. Like I said, the rotation. 20 years ago, you had a group of 10 people. You may have had 8 people. You had one person or 2 people that would be like, say something abstract, and you had the 8 people that would be like, we ain't doing that. Now, 20 years later, you have 8 people that's telling you to do the negative and the 2 that's telling you to do the positive. Think about it. Think about when younger. You had somebody, you'll be like, this cat crazy. You know what I mean? You'll be like, what? And then now it has flipped. So I'm with you, Malik. Those that are doing well, let's pull them out. Let's celebrate them. And not the person that... Kudos to the people that get out and they rehabbed and all that extra stuff. That's all well and good. What about that C student? And when I say that C student, you got like scholarships and everything for the DFO. They get all the help and all the attention. And then you got the A student, all the help, all the attention. What about that C student that decided to make the right decisions and not go, to the left, but they're just sitting there? And we're saying, wait your turn. You're not smart enough. Instead of giving them the tools that they need to reach their goal or to attain their goal, we're just leaving them in limbo.
Well, at that point, that's where we put it back on our guidance counselors. We put it back on our teachers to motivate them. The ones who are with them in school, seeing what they're doing, and report it back to their parents so that motivation can be reinforced at home. Like I said, it's everybody. It's everybody involved trying to make it better, because if you're getting told the same thing by every group of people...
That you can do better, that you can do better, that you can do better.
That you can do better. And if the people your own age are telling you that, if everybody else is telling you that, it's got to sink in somewhere. But then again, it still goes back to, at some point, they grow up and they make their own choices.
But here's the thing. It should sink in, but listen to it. You can do better. Listen, you could do better. You can do better. What about accepting them for who they are and keying in on what they're good at and helping them to reach the goal that they want to reach? Because that C student, I'm telling you, you can hear it over and over and over and over again. Like I said, it is really hard being a leader. That's a lot of pressure. And you can hear, because everyone wants their offsprings to be great. Let's be real.
Yeah, true.
And it's like, you're a leader, you're not a follower. But there are followers that are out there. The key is, and it's okay to be a follower, but that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody to say over and over, you could do better. You're a leader. What if they're not? Allow them to be who they are, but ask them the number one question. Who are they following? That's what matters. Who are you following? That's what matters. And then, or find that person. They might be doing the best that they could do. They may not be a scholar. They may be a hands-on person. And they may not, have it mentally. And you're like, you could do better. You getting there. Celebrate each milestone. And I think that's what we need to do. Stop telling people that they're not good enough. Because once they become adults, they're going to find their community where they're accepted, and it might not be the community that you wanted them to find.
And the worst part behind that, once they become adults, and I see this part all the time, those adults have children, and they teach their children, if this is good enough for me, it's good enough for you. So nobody aspires to be better.
And they might not aspire to be better because somebody never told them that they were better.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So, I'm off my soapbox. What y'all
I'm with you on that. Celebrate each achievement.
Each achievement, yeah. Celebrate it. Now, I ain't saying I'm going to celebrate an F and do like the old, what's his name, CEO and put it on the refrigerator. I ain't doing that.
No, I ain't doing that either, man.
Right, you know what I mean? Do well and celebrate each milestone. Let me hurry up and ask y'all these little questions real quick. Get into these hot topics. I don't know, Malik, if you can stay or not before the show is over. If you can't, you could go ahead and exit. But if you can't, come on. Do you think the youth are... you ready? Do you think that the young adults are taking marriage serious anymore?
No.
No.
My son was married, and it was a disaster. He didn't have kids outside his marriage. The wife didn't have kids outside their marriage, and they just don't value marriage. They're in love with the idea of getting married. And
the pictures. The pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, the paparazzi and the social media part of the situation, but they don't take the vow serious.
Right.
So my question is, why get married if you're not going to do what you're supposed to be doing?
They doing it for, like you said, for the pictures, for social media, for the likes. They doing it for the likes.
There you go.
The entertainment.
Take it from the person who's been married 3 times. And each time it was serious for me. but I married the wrong man, obviously, both times, because they didn't know how to keep it in their pants. They wanted to call me wifey and bring me. Well, the second one would bring the money home and give me all the money, but he still wanted to do what he wanted to do. That first one wouldn't work in the pie factory if all he had to do was taste pies. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay, bye.
I'm a pretty boy, and because daddy and uncles was drug dealers, he thought he was about that life. Nah, baby, you're not about that life.
Well, I guess you got. I guess you have a point. So you got to find the right person, but
find the right person as well.
But the younger generation, they just not. They looking at the show. The show is better than the vows.
There you go.
Who had the best wedding?
That's the problem, babe.
All right.
There you go.
Here you go. Did y'all see Nas X new video?
Child, listen.
Wait. Let me ask him. Did y'all see it?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give you a preface of what it was. What it is, it shows him. He's in the prison, like he locked up. They got on pink uniforms, and they got this one scene where they dancing in the shower nude. Nas X is gay, for those who don't know. That's the Old Town Road guy, okay? And, you know, they doing the choreography is like, Nick, you seen the choreography?
The choreography was on point, but that...
Okay, so there was it was nude dudes. Now, that particular, that video, the song bang, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. The song bangs if you don't know what it's about. So you guys gotta check that out. Go ahead in Vivo. Y'all gotta check it out after the show, though. After the show.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
So one of my godsons is telling me it's terrible, but
listen. It is, and I'm gonna tell you this part of it. I think he used it as a metaphor, where he was pretty much like, it shows where he's breaking out of prison, but he might, and I think he used the whole video as a metaphor, saying, I'm tired of being jailed, I'm gay, and, you know, the whole come out type thing. However, them going in there, and I don't know if they use like, I guess they figured that like the tough guy is supposed to be the one that's, you know, that's locked up or whatever. We know it's some, you know, you got some candied yams in prison. I've seen some, and you got some sweet potatoes. You know, the sweet potatoes kind of like, you kind of know, but you don't know. But the candied yams, they going to let you know. But the way that they portrayed it, it was like it looked like all people in jail was gay, and that's not true.
Okay.
And so you know, and then being in the shower and doing a little dance or whatever. I don't know if it might be like, what is that? What's that song? Like Beyonce's song, you know, the anthem. It might be the gay anthem next, but the song does bang. If you don't know what it's about, it bangs. It does. However,
I was listening to the words and I knew what you was talking about. Because I don't know if you saw the very first video of this album that he did with Childless.
Where he was the devil?
Oh, yeah, I ain't fooling with that. Yeah, that's too much.
I seen that. Was like that.
But let's stay on task. Wait, we got to stay on task.
That was the one where...
Whoa. Wait, listen. We got to stay on task. We talking about this one right here so I can go to my next topic. Okay, we got to stay here. All right. Now, moving on to the next one. Dr. Eon Smith on The Doctors. You guys remember him? Remember The Doctors, the black guy on The Doctors?
Yeah.
The host? Well, he's complaining because there's lack of diversity on that show, you know, in production. However, you know that he was hired as a host. Now, he said, Nick, you was talking about the Me Too movement. He said that one of the producers told him that he needed to wear tighter shirts because he's physically fit, that particular doctor. But he looked at it as sexual harassment. Do you believe that that's sexual harassment?
In a way, yes. What does him wearing tighter shirts have to do with the topics of the show? So what? He's physically fit. He's comfortable wearing. Why did he got to wear a tighter shirt?
I would say exploitation.
Wait. Go ahead, Malik. What's your thought?
I would say exploitation.
Okay.
And better
I would say
ratings.
sexual. Have you ever seen the news in Mexico?
Nope.
The Weather girls have on napkins for dresses, no cuts, and don't know nothing about the weather, but everybody watches the weather.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. What about you, Deron? What you think?
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that.
But
I think basically what they're doing it is it's sexist, but they're also doing it for better ratings. They're trying to attract more women viewers, all that, because just like guys, I mean, same thing with videos. If you go to a sporting event, you see the boxing girl in the ring with the bikinis on, you're trying to get everybody's attention.
true, right? So that's what I was wondering. Like, if it was his actual personal manager, saying, "Hey, you need to wear tighter shirts because it'll bring more viewers, the ratings will go up, job security."
There you go.
Versus him, him feeling like it's sexual harassment. But if the tables were turned, it'd be sexual harassment.
Yeah, no doubt. But things are a little bit different with women and men because we had the same situation at work where they said we had a sexual harassment class, and if you do certain things to a guy, you do certain things to a woman, like if I rubbed against you or something like that, that's sexual harassment. But if a woman does it, it's not considered sexual harassment. And bull crap you not. This was told to us in the sexual harassment class.
That's nuts.
Mr. Man is telling you on the way back.
That's nuts.
Yeah, different rules, and society's fault. Different rules.
All right. Kanye, he had, what was it, the Donda down in Atlanta, a listening party he had going on?
Mm-hmm.
Now, him and Jay-Z supposed to be back together, linking back up. So I'm happy about that. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that's an excellent choice. Kanye a little crazy, but I think Jigga is the man.
Okay.
Jigga, his swag is just, oh man, he just got that swag about himself.
Okay, what's your thoughts, Nick? None?
I mean, they did work well together.
Now,
They worked well together, so I think
it was better.
Hopefully, Jay-Z can bring him back to reality, bring him back down because he done lost his mind.
it probably wasn't little. I ain't gonna say that. Let me leave that alone. Anyway, he had this. He had like a stocking cap over his face. It was his listening party that he had. Well, yeah, it was a listening party. I don't know what they listened to because he had that stocking cap over his face. But here's my point. The kettle corn was sky high. A hot dog, $40.
Child,
Like that. Now y'all already know, that was where I said, now y'all done crossed the line. That's where my problem was at. So they went to the
tenders was $50.
what? The chicken tenders was $50? See, that's crazy.
There has to be some hellified chicken tenders. I mean, they had to be orgasm.
$40.
Listen,
$40 for a hot dog.
$40 for a hot dog. Don't ask for cheese. I'm sitting there like, that
Are you
was.
serious?
I'm so
They
serious.
said they was getting their money by any means
And see, and that's what it's like. Do you blame Kanye or do you blame the venue? Maybe they like trying to re-up on COVID money.
But they probably
That's
had
all.
to do that for his fee, though. I'm sure.
Oh, probably his fee.
Yeah, his fee probably because the tickets wasn't that much, and they were giving a lot of free tickets.
Right.
So they was trying to re-up.
But you couldn't take your phone in there. You couldn't take nothing in there. You was gonna be hungry. So I'm like, but people probably ran out of their PPP money.
Yeah, I would hate
Those that didn't go to jail for fraud.
I'm like, because I would have had to have PPP money to be paying for a $40 hot dog.
even if I had some PPP money, I still couldn't do no crap like that.
You ain't doing no $50 chicken fingers.
Nah, not for no $50 hot dog.
Yeah, we
man.
find out doing.
The regular menu, like the family meal, at the most is like $30 at the most for a family meal there. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's like $3 for a slice of pizza. You know, $2 for like a hot dog. The regular menu is not
$3
that
for a slice of
expensive.
pizza.
Now listen, and she knows she from the ATL. So she right here. Hey, we doing it.
That's who that was.
Yeah, so that's crazy. All of that, and then how much barbecue sauce? You know, at McDonald's, you got to pay 50 cents for an extra sauce.
Woo!
Yeah, I wonder how much the sauce was. You know, you got to pay it for that, the extra
I
sauce.
didn't know that. Wow. Things
Wow.
are wrong.
Yeah, everybody try and do what they do. Yeah, I don't know. Now, how y'all feel about this whole cancel culture thing? Because you know that's what's going on with Jeff Bezos. Is that the Amazon guy?
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Up to
now,
space.
now he done went up to space. Now I did watch it, though.
Amazon paid for it.
And he said he thanked Amazon, the employees, and us, the customers, for flying, you know, for helping them get up there. Now, do you think that that's a slap in the face or not?
No.
Is that a compliment or a thank you or a, like,
I mean, it depends how you take it.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not making any money and this cat's sending people up in space, then I take that as an insult. But, you know, if I'm doing well, I guess I could take that as, okay, well, congratulations, or, you know, thank you for helping me get into space.
okay, so Amazon's supposed to be getting paid big bucks. Some places don't. Amazon's supposed to be the place to work. Everybody want to work there. So, I don't know. But then they said that people are getting carpal tunnel because they can't get breaks and all that
They get
extra.
15 minutes. They can get like a 15
Yeah,
minute
and there's no
break.
union either.
Yeah.
Oh, well then guess what? Then now you have it. That's
They'll replace them though.
That's
They'll
an
replace
insult.
There's no union either. And they just tried to unionize and it got smacked down.
Yeah, that's a smack in the face to me then.
This is smack in the face?
But the thing about it
smack
is,
in the face.
Amazon is like, what you won't do, somebody else will, because they have Amazon Flex, which I do drive for. So, and that's just picking up groceries or just small packages. So I'm not an exact employee of Amazon, but you know, it's just like Uber Eats or a DoorDash. I can pick up your groceries or your packages and drop them off. So therefore, I don't necessarily have to have these fleet of trucks. But there's independent companies who work for and who have a contract with Amazon, and then they have drivers up under them as well. So it could also be them who's not giving them, you know, the rights to their breaks and everything.
Oh. Okay.
But you like to receive your package on time, don't you?
I sure do, and I be ordering a lot. But I ain't know they was doing all that. I was
I
like,
didn't know that they were union.
listen, I ain't know
No,
either.
no.
Look, I'm sitting there like, you welcome. You're welcome, because I ain't trying to go to the moon. But
I don't think I can go to the moon either.
that's when you got too much money. You ain't got nothing else to do but just go to the moon. Like,
you know how many families he can feed with that hungry people down here, and your choice is to go to the moon for what? Just so you can say I was the first one that did it. That's all it is about.
Billionaire, yeah.
yeah, billionaire. Just to say I flew through the moon. Or I went
That's
to the
it.
moon. That's why listen, when the people be talking about I love you to the moon and back, I'm like, that's kind of short.
But they didn't actually go to the moon, though. They went to, like, the outer edge. And
Okay.
they came back. They didn't actually go to the moon.
I'm like, you just got stupid money, don't have nothing else to do, and you just like, okay, this is what we gonna do.
I mean, wow.
But what it's gonna start is they're gonna try to start selling space. Hey, I'll take you up to space, or they're gonna try to build a community somewhere.
In space.
Planet.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
You cool? You like, I'm cool on Earth?
I'm cool down here on Earth. I was born down here. I'm gonna die down here.
Okay. Now, with this whole cancel culture thing, there's a YouTuber guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he gives advice on relationship advice, and he said he uses women to get this information. But here's the thing.
Kevin Samuels.
That's it, Kevin Samuels. Thanks. That's it. Thank you so much. Look, got my back right over there. Him. Now, here's my thing. Why are we canceling culture? Why are we like canceling people out? Like Chrissy Teigen. A lot of people were upset with Chrissy Teigen. They said she's been bullying people for years, and now she want to say, I apologize, and she lost endorsements, and now she want to come back. But they want everybody to jump on this bandwagon to just cancel her instead of just not support her. Like, why can't we just, you know how you ain't like a show, you just turn the channel.
That's it.
Yeah.
So why are we not doing that anymore? Why we just like, no, we're not doing, it's over. It's over for you. Like the Bachelor. Like the whole career's over.
There's no.
I never was into those reality shows. No way, man. I didn't watch too much of The Bachelor and none of that. Only one I really ever paid attention was, and this is from our generation because it was Flavor Flav, Flavor of Love. That was the only one I watched.
That was a good one.
Yeah, and I only watched it because we grew up with the hip hop of Public Enemy. That's the only reason why I watched it. But then I got interested in it. But at the end of the day, they just getting too out of hand with it. They're another ones. They selling that crap to our younger generation. The disrespect, the sleeping with the ballers. They're promoting that. So, our television is practically raising our kids.
Now, how do we correct that? Do you cancel the show or do you turn your television off?
You turn your television off. You control your own house.
That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
But what? So do you think like the cancel culture, to me, I look at it as like another form of bullying. You getting everybody on your bandwagon and okay, we just gonna boom, bye, see ya.
You can put it that way. I never looked at it that way, man. But
I was like, we like no bullying. We're not gonna bully. Just say no to bullying. But that's what's happening. Like the Karen situation that happened where was that at? Was that in Atlanta? No. The Karen at the Victoria's Secrets.
I don't know where that was, but that was ridiculous.
Yeah, the Karen situation in Victoria's Secrets, the lady, she said she ended up having a panic attack because she was concerned that she would lose her job. So she attacked an African woman, okay? And then she was swinging the African, once she realized that the African woman was videoing her, recording her, then she wants to have a panic attack and says she might lose her job and all that extra stuff. So she lays on the floor at the Victoria's Secrets, kicking and all that other stuff, and blaming the black woman. And then she said she didn't want to, she was like, stop recording me. They was like, that's her right to stop recording her. She did not break the law by recording her because that's a public place. Even though it's a privately owned mall, but it's still a public place.
Yeah. And to expound on it, the police, once the police got there, she was like, why aren't you taking her out?
Right, and they didn't arrest her.
Take her out
they didn't arrest Karen, the one that was the aggressor. However, if it was flipped around, we know how the story would have ended.
Bingo.
People don't know how to have a conversation.
Right.
Anymore. That could have been solved in one conversation.
And that's why I really believe in that Karen registry. You got a sex assault registry. Put a Karen registry out there. Know who you gonna get. You'll be like, she liable to act a fool on you. You know what I mean? And then you know who your neighbor is. You'd be like, oh, here we got one of those in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? You know how you look through it, be like, oh, we got a child molester in the neighborhood. Oh, we got a Karen. Have them, make them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All right, lovely people. I thank you for coming on, Malik and Deron. Thank you. Yeah, look, I'm like, that's our time. Look at it. It just went. But I so appreciate you, lovely people. And this particular show, Solutions, is in memory of Marquette Jones.
Okay.
All right. I just had to put that out there. So thank you guys for coming on. Malik, I truly, stay here, Deron. I truly appreciate you giving up your time. You're at Howard University. I love it. HBCU, what up? Way to represent, okay? And Deron, I truly appreciate you coming on and just giving us information, trying to find solutions. We're just trying to find solutions and stop pointing the finger and blaming people.
Anytime, man. I'm always here for support.
I appreciate it. I truly do. I want to ask you one more question. Do you see, and help me to understand.
Okay.
Even though we do have a black mayor, but do you see that black people tend to, and we're all black, jump on the bandwagon without doing the research themselves?
I agree. And my thing with that is, every time a brother gets in a positive place, us as a people, I don't know why it is they didn't tear him down and steady getting behind him and pushing for solutions and answers. Instead of blaming Tito, come to the town hall meetings. Come to stuff like that. Don't always just putting him off the blast like he is the problem. He's not. Tito grew up in the same neighborhood as us. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
He's also looking for solutions, but he needs help.
Mm-hmm.
He needs help. It's like we put him in office. We got to help him with solutions and resolving the problems of life.
Okay. Any last words, Malik?
I concur. I agree with what he just said. No sense of repeating it. Well said.
All right. Any last words?
No last words.
No last words. All right, lovely people. Remember, we are all individuals, and it is up to us to change our surroundings. All right. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people. Shop Talk right here on your Spreaker, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere.com. But visit the website at shoptalkwithmel.com.